Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 7:46 p.m.
For anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Crystal. I'm 54 and I'm from Rochester in Kent. I moved into these new build flats 2 years ago, 10th of August 2020, and I'm still here at the moment. I have been trying to move out, but hopefully in the future I will. Right, so I have been round my mum's at Durrell Gardens, but I haven't done a video when I came home because I wanted to relax. And I wanted to look after Max and spend some time with Max because I'd left him alone from about 11 till 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. So I wanted to spend some time with my lovely Chihuahua and watch a DVD that I'd ordered and just relax. So at about 11, a taxi arrived, a white taxi arrived outside the flats that I live in Rochester, and I wasn't ready because my mum said the taxi was coming between 11:15 and 11:30. It hadn't got to 11:15 and I wasn't ready. So I rushed out with my coat not done up and I grabbed my cap, this cap here with the C on. Like that, I grabbed that and I jumped into the taxi. Nice driver, Durrell Gardens, yes please. And nice smooth drive past the Royal Mail van, because the Royal Mail depot is in Rochester, past the Royal Mail, up along New Road, up just underneath the Luton Arches, up to the Luton Road, up to Upper Luton part of the road, and there was traffic chaos. A three-way traffic lights system was in control, and there was a hold-up of traffic. Where my mum was living, near the Hen and Chickens area, the Upper Luton Road, there was a hold-up of traffic. So eventually we got to Durrell Gardens. He asked me where my mum's address was. I said, can you go right to the top of the road? The taxi stopped. I got out of the taxi. And my mum was waiting behind the door. She came out, and she came out in a white beaded cardigan, and she paid the taxi driver. My mum did. My mum told me to wait. I waited. Then we both went into the flat together. I sat down near the table with all food laid out, candy floss, drinks, biscuits, crisps, etc., etc. I sat down, my mum sat down where she usually sits. I was offered a cup of tea and coffee, I declined, and later on my mum gave me a piece of paper and a pen and asked me to write down what I wanted for a takeaway. As you know, I had a bad stomach this morning, which seemed to taper off, and I sat down and I ordered a £half-pound burger from Top Kebab and Pizza in Gillingham. So I ordered a £half-pound burger, some onion rings and a chocolate eclair. And my mum paid the takeaway delivery driver. When I got out of the taxi at my mum's, there was a guy with glasses holding a tablet near my mum's property, and he went to my mum, see you later. So they said they offered a quick delivery. The takeaway company came within 30 to 35 minutes all the way from Gillingham to Chatham. I said my mum paid to the driver. I didn't see what he looked like because I didn't speak to him. I was very pleased with the £half-pound burger. I'd asked for no cheese, but there was cheese on the burgers. So my mum said, please don't give my daughter any cheese. There was cheese on the burgers. Some cheeses make me short of breath, and I have an allergic reaction to some cheeses, but it was a soft cheese, so I ate it, so I'm still here. remnants of the chocolate eclair, which is a bit crumbly, and I don't really like the taste of the cream, so I've eaten some of the chocolate eclair. These are the onion rings that accompanied the burger. I had chips as well, but I didn't eat all of them. Onion rings. 2 cans of 7-Up. 7-Up. So, ate my takeaway. My mum, Jennifer, didn't have any takeaway at all. The takeaway was for me, she said, so I ate the £half-pound burger, which was 2 burgers in a bun with cheese. My mum said, don't put cheese on the burgers, and there was soft melted cheese on them. I put on the telly, I put on bits of Harry talking about his book Spare. So I put on that, I put on some YouTube videos of Claridge's, Life is Too Short, and then I put the TV on, watch the news, etc, etc. And Lingo with an Asian presenter, and Diane and Nigel were the contestants. Diana and Nigel were the contestants on Lingo. Diana was an old lady with glasses of 82, and Nigel was her son of about 50. So I watched Lingo with Diana and Nigel as contestants. As you know, I've dyed my hair ginger. I used to have grey hair, but I dyed it ginger, so they're a bit stuffed now. Someone asked me for pictures yesterday and I didn't give them any. So I watched the telly, had a takeaway. My mum gave me various bits and pieces which I will show you. Sue did not knock on my mum's door whilst I was there. I don't know whether her neighbours Sue and Barry was out. I didn't see any of the neighbours at all. I haven't seen Karen for ages. I didn't see the dark-skinned lady Veronica. I really didn't see any of the neighbours, and the lady with the brown scruffy dog, I think she's moved, so I don't see her at all. My mum walked up and down the flat with a pair of scissors, like open. So she was walking up and down the flat with a pair of open scissors, but I presume she was, I don't even remember what she was doing with them. Maybe she was cutting something, I don't know. She was trying to get a point across. She was like quite loud and sometimes came across as a bit aggressive. I just sat there, whatever she said, I let it, whatever she wanted to get out of her system about my dad Derek, I let her shout, rant, and sometimes it came across as quite aggressive. Jennifer's entitled to Derek's money. It came across as sometimes a bit aggressive. And I just sat there and I took it because she's my mum. I love my mum, and I thought she wanted to rant and moan about Dad, which she's entitled to do. I'm not going to have a go back at her. I'm not a violent person, but if people, you know, walking up and down the room with an open pair of scissors is dangerous. If people are letting their dogs jump all over me, there's a certain point where I'm going to say, look, you know, that dog is hurting me, can you get it off? Or I'm going to get the police involved, because I've now again had dogs jump all over me in the pitch black, and girls were giggling and laughing as the dogs were jumping over me, and it's not funny. So that is the 4th or 5th time I've had dogs jump all over me, and it's giggling girls doing it. Girls giggling. They knew those dogs were going to do that. They're off the leash in the pitch black, right? And they saw me walking onto the field and they started giggling. One was a really big dog and it looked like a wolf. And no attempt to call the dog off at all. Just stood there like lemons. And she didn't even apologise, and I said, you could have said sorry, you know. I said, you know, you just could have said sorry. I didn't shout at her. I just said, you know, it's just staring at me like I'm some kind of video. I'm 54, I'm a woman, and that dog hurt the back of my leg and she just did nothing. And they were giggling as they saw me approaching, laughing. It's not funny. Max and I are both sick and tired of dogs jumping off of us, and I was talking to my mum on loudspeaker on the field when their dogs were jumping all over me. I was actually talking to my mum on the field while these girls were letting 2 dogs jump all over my leg. Some people have arthritis and they're disabled, and giggling girls of about 20, early 20s, my son's age, laughing at me. That's another subject anyway. So I wanted to leave around 2. But I had a call from Boots Pharmacy in Strood. I don't live in Strood, I live in Rochester, but the nice coloured guy with the bald head serves me and he knows who I, Crystal, am. I'd had a message from a female telling me to ring Boots Pharmacy whilst I was round my mum's because they had a query about my repeat prescription. So I rang the chemist whilst I was round my mum's, and my mum got agitated while I was using the phone. She got extremely agitated and upset while I was ringing the chemist. And she's, so the lady said, oh, what's your name? Crystal Marshall. Oh, she handed the phone over to the coloured pharmacist. Nice guy, he is, really nice, he's polite to me. And he said to me, Miss Marshall, we haven't got all of your citalopram. That's my depression tablets. We haven't got all of your citalopram. How many tablets have you got left? And I said to the pharmacist, I haven't got my citalopram box. I'm round my mother's. I'm at my mother's address. I haven't got my depression tablets. I don't know. He said, oh, never mind. We'll try and work it out and give you a note for the rest. So I'm expecting to go and collect my Brooks prescription this week at some point. They've got everything else but not the citalopram, which is for my chronic depression. Because when I was being bullied online, I'm not saying I felt suicidal, but I was very, very upset. And I wouldn't leave my flat. I do feel I'm being intimidated by young women in their 20s letting their dogs jump all over me to prevent me going and taking Max for a walk, and I don't know why. It's not only annoying, if you've got a nice pair of trousers on and you've got a dog with big claws, they're going to put holes in your trousers and get mud all over your clothes. And girls giggling and finding it's funny, I'm going to have to call the police if it keeps happening. Because I have every right to walk around that field in peace and quiet without being pestered by young females giggling and laughing and thinking it's funny to let their dogs crawl all over me. No, when Max does it, I pull him off and apologise. And why are they letting dogs off the lead in the dark? They don't even know where their dogs are. They don't even know where they are. As I was coming back off the field, there was a guy dressed in black. He wasn't walking a dog with a beanie hat. And there was a girl that appeared to be off her head on drugs and drink, trying to get into the builder's yard where the school is. She was pulling the handle of the door of the builders off her head. And I was talking to my mum on the phone and she said, what? I was talking to my mum on the phone. Young women off their head on drink or weed in the pitch black. And my mum said, is your place always like that? I said, no, not always. It started happening again. It's not always like it. It was quiet for a while and it started again. And then my neighbour's Ford Mondeo came down the path. So it was like these girls wanted to get me off the field. And then my neighbour upstairs, Ford Mondeo, came down the path as I was coming off the field. But I didn't go straight home. I didn't bump into my neighbour. I walked around the back way and came round the back way about 5 or 10 minutes later after he'd come and arrived at the flats. So I didn't bump into him upstairs either. I was on the phone to my mum and she said to me, if you get any more trouble, call me back. Right, I am going to do a video of what I got. I had parcels on the floor for me, Crystal, when I got home, and I brought them up the stairs. See you later.